rules, which is what they should have done in the first place 8 months ago.
Yeah, but even this comes with a caveat. Senator Nelson says he suspects any deal will not be accepted by both campaigns until everyone else in the country has voted, and by that time a winner may have been picked effectively already anyway. So the headline is new. There is movement on the Florida vote, but the story is the same. It's still a mess.
Yeah,
Anderson?
a mess, I guess, with no question, with no solution clearly right now in sight. Tom Foreman, thanks very much. Joining us now, two super delegates, former DNC chairman and current Obama supporter David Wilhelm, and Florida Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, a Clinton supporter. Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz, Dean said that they will absolutely seat a delegation from Florida, but as Tom just said, he didn't say how. Are you guys on the Clinton side any closer to figuring out how those delegates would be apportioned or should be?
Well, I think the best news that came out of our meeting with Chairman Dean this morning is that the question of whether our delegation in Florida will be seated has been put to rest, and now it's just a matter of how. And that is tremendous progress. It sends a strong signal to the voters in Florida that the Democratic Party cares about them, that we will fight tooth and nail to win this general election and put Florida in the win column for the Democratic nominee. And particularly, although, you know, it might seem trivial, even going so far as organizing the logistics to get our delegation situated out in Denver when the convention happens.
So is 50-50 okay for you?
Deal. You know, I think we're at the point now where we've determined that we're going to ensure that the delegation gets seated, and then we've got to let some more voters weigh in on what the outcome is going to be and get a clearer picture on this nomination process.
David,
I think it's still too early to determine what the details are in terms of how.
David, on the Obama side, is 50-50 okay with Obama?
Well, I'm not an agent for the campaign, but that sounds fair to me. If a 50-50 split would mean that both, I'm in Michigan tonight, both Michigan and Florida would have their delegations seated. That's definitely the best thing for the party. It's something that Senator Obama has wanted to do from the get-go. And in the context of elections that were run in violation of Democratic National Committee rules, a 50-50 split would mean the delegations are seated, but they will have no impact on the overall outcome of the race. And that seems like a compromise that Solomon would be proud of.
Anderson, I can tell you that our delegation is united against a 50-50 split. That includes Obama supporters as well as Clinton supporters and our members that have not taken a position. A 50-50 split makes absolutely no sense. There are 1.75 million voters that went to the polls on January 29th. We had a record turnout, and whoever the nominee is needs to be selected by Democrats from all 50 states who weighed in. A random 50-50 split makes absolutely no sense and would be unfair and would disenfranchise voters in Florida.
Well, with that kind of language, then, how do you get a compromise? I mean, what's the solution? I mean, Dean said no one but the candidates themselves are going to be able to come up with a deal. There's no grand officials who are going to be able to do that.
I agree with that. I think we're going to have to let some of these contests unfold. And then what we agreed to this morning in that meeting between the delegation as well as Chairman Dean and our party chair, Karen Thurman, was that we would go back to the respective campaigns and encourage them to work together. We would go through the various proposed solutions and encourage them to reach a resolution as quickly as possible.
So cutting through all the politics of this and the spin on this, I mean, for the Clinton side, basically, it seems like you don't want a 50-50 because that doesn't give any benefit to Senator Clinton and she's behind. And on the Obama side, it seems like 50-50 is a status quo.
We don't support 50-50 because it's unfair and it's not reflective of votes that were cast in Florida. And that is a position that is held by Obama supporters that are superdelegates in Florida, as well as Clinton supporters.
And to split the delegation according to a vote that was in contravention of Democratic National Committee rules would be unfair too.
Well,
but I do agree.
Let him finish his comment.
Well, I do agree that I think the right posture is to let this thing play out, let the campaigns get together, and in conjunction with the leadership of the Democratic National Committee and leaders in Florida and leaders in Michigan, have everybody do their level best to find a solution to this, because I think both campaigns, and it is in the interest of the Democratic Party and I think the country, that these delegations be seated, and that's the bottom line.
And I'd like, I would like Anderson to hear Senator Obama, once and for all, say that he thinks Florida's delegation should be seated, because, I've heard a lot of his surrogates, go near that statement. David is saying it here tonight, But I think that voters in Florida they've heard from Hillary Clinton. She believes the Florida's delegation should be seated. We'd love to hear those words from Senator Obama's mouth, and we've yet to hear that.
I appreciate both of you being on the program. Thank you very much. Well, obviously, this debate is going to go on.